In this video, I'll be speaking about my experience of tabletop games and analyze the way I felt during gameplay, but first I wanted to understand what a game truly is and what it involves. Firstly, what is the definition of a game? Games are both systems and stories and are a balance between these. These systems and stories work hand in hand, whereas a game's rules can tell its story, and the story can influence the rules to match its theme and settings. Games can be categorized into genres and industries of mass market and hobby niche games. Mass market games are the board games that you see in the large retailers such as Kmart and Target. One that you may be familiar with is Monopoly, whilst hobby games are more specialized games that put more emphasis on gaming style, strategy, and theme. For example, Pokemon TCG is a hobby game. Games are also made up of a theme and setting. The theme of a game generally refers to what a game will make a player do, feel, or evoke. It is basically the underlying reason, statement, or suggestion of a setting. Whilst the setting of a game is to provide context, in which the theme exists to give that context meaning. A setting can be the environment where the game is taking place. This can include the time period it's set in or the location. For example, a game takes a historical theme and has its setting in an ancient Egypt or Edo period. And lastly, a game has mechanics. A game cannot function without a set of mechanics. Mechanics are basically rules and systems that govern how a game works and how a player may interact with it. Key game mechanics can involve turns, actions, asymmetry, cards, dice, and movement, etc. With the basis of knowing what a game is, let's head to my gaming experience with the game Love Letter. Love Letter is a 2 to 4 player card game that's fast paced and involves elimination, where players aim to get their love letter to the princess while keeping other players' letters away. My first impression of this game was that the art was eye-catching as the drawings resembled historical paintings. This immediately implied that the game has a historical theme as the characters' outfits seem to appear from the Renaissance time period. Love Letter consists of 16 cards where each card has a character, a number value, and an ability. The game begins with each player starting with a card, and on a player's turn they must draw another card and choose which one to discard, ultimately activating its ability. To win the game, the last player remaining wins, or until the deck runs out where the player with the highest number card wins. During our first round, our decisions weren't the best as we didn't clearly understand the value and abilities our cards held. However, over time as we played, I realized the game became a lot more competitive where each player became secretive and learnt the best strategies on how to eliminate each other. After a few turns, I pinpointed the main mechanics of the games, which involve turns, cards, actions, and deduction. At each turn, a card is picked up and discarded, where the actions are the abilities placed in order to deduct players. I believe the mechanics went well with the theme and setting as each character had their own abilities that suited their power within the Renaissance period, suggesting its social class systems. I felt these components of the game really brought the game together to make it make sense. My overall experience with Love Letter was quite enjoyable and I actually would recommend it for a game night. It's a great game down to its mechanics and themes working together.